Hello, and welcome to this episode of I'm Bored. I'm your host, JC, and today we're going to be talking about whatever the heck I want to. So, I'll see if anybody comes in, says the desperate YouTuber. Am I even a YouTuber? I'm not. I'm just JC. I'm just JC! I am procrastinating on a whole bunch of stuff because why not? I also have my microphone to the side. Why does it say I've been live for 1 minute and 5 seconds, which I have not? You liar. You liar, make a liar face, StreamYard. I don't know. I'm procrastinating, but I'm bored. And I've nothing else to actually have a ton of shit to do. Am I doing it? No, that's what procrastination is for. I wouldn't want to let procrastination down. Anyway, I thought I would look some more and see if they've cast any more people for Monster, the Netflix series that is going to come out. Ryan Murphy is creating. Let's see. Let's see what we've got here. Did I add that to the stream? I did. I shall read it for you. So, if you're familiar with the series American Horror Story, it's created by Ryan Murphy and I believe Ian Brennan. I think Ryan Murphy created Glee, but I never really watched it because it seemed dumb. But American Horror Stories I started watching maybe like 5 years ago, and it's not normally what I would watch. I don't normally like gore, but I thought there was some deeper meanings behind things and mystery and shock value. So yeah. I don't think I watched the series though, the season with the NAZI theme. I don't know if you're allowed to say that on here. And not that I'm monetized, but I also don't want to get banned. But Freak Show, I couldn't finish the rest of that either. So what are my favorite seasons, you ask? Thank you. Well, of course, the very first one, because it's kind of a classic. And yes, Coven, because I'm a supreme bitch. And New Orleans is my jam. Second to Savannah, sorry. I also liked Roanoke and the 80s one. But I think I like Roanoke before the 80s one. 80s was just nostalgic. And the last season, both American Horror Stories. There was only one episode that I liked of that, and that was, I think, Rabbit Rabbit. The whole split alien Massachusetts, they were both horrible. I understand what they were doing with the second one, the alien. They were just going off of all of the conspiracies that people have of lizard people, but it was still horrible. It was awful. But I am looking forward to the Monster series, which will portray the victim's perspective, Dahmer's victims' perspective, and effectiveness of the Wisconsin police system. And honestly, it sheds a light on just the prejudice, sometimes, most of the time, racist ideals that the police force have. So it is, let's see, according to Deadline.com, the Monster Chronicles are the story of one of America's most notorious blah, blah, blah. It'll be portrayed by Evan Peters, who is one of the main characters of the American Horror Story series that Ryan Murphy uses a lot as well. And I'm looking forward to his acting on this. But this series is going to be a little bit different. It's going to talk about or have the viewpoint of the victims. And it says it dives deeply into the police incompetence and apathy that allowed the Wisconsin native to go on a multi-year spree. That's not a pig. The series dramatizes at least 10 instances where Dahmer was almost apprehended but ultimately let go. Yes, you heard and read that correctly. 10 instances. And while I read that, I knew of, because I think I was maybe starting to be a teenager when when he was apprehended, like the final time when someone escaped and they actually took him seriously and went into his apartment and found everything, even though seems like the smell and other things would have been unavoidable before, when the 14-year-old boy was taken back to Dahmer's apartment by police. But that's exactly what my first video on Dahmer is about. I was so blown away when I read this exact portion. 10 instances where Dahmer should have been apprehended, but was not. 10 times he looked suspicious. One time there were 2 teenage girls that saw a victim coming out of his apartment, naked, bleeding, seemed like they were drugged. They called the police. Police didn't take them seriously, brought them back to Dahmer. Then there was a missing, like a couple days later in the newspaper, there was a missing persons for this exact person. The mother of the daughters that reported it called the police saying, hey, this kind of looks like that kid that my daughter and my niece reported on. And they were like, nah. Because Dahmer was a quote unquote normal looking white dude. Why? And these were people of color that were his victims and were the people reporting on him. So why would they need to be taken seriously? They wouldn't. Because who cares? Disposable? Not trustworthy? What are the reasons? What are the reasons we as white people allowed this to happen? Sure, not every white person is like this, right? But as a collective whole, we absolutely are, and we still are. Just listen to the Murdoch Murders podcast. So, the series also is expected to touch on white privilege, as Dahmer, a clean-cut, good-looking white guy, was repeatedly given a free pass by cops, as well as by judges who were lenient when he had been charged with petty crimes. Because not only, I believe the last name was Konerak, of the 14-year-old boy, I may be mispronouncing that, but not only was he given back this boy, but just a few months prior, he had assaulted his brother. His 16-year-old, I believe, brother. And I can't remember if he got a slap on the wrist or anything at all. It was a very light sentence. And I think Dahmer was even something like, hey, I won't do that again. It's ridiculous. So let's see. Yeah, Niecy Nash plays what is considered the series' female lead, Glenda Cleveland, a neighbor of Dahmer's who called police numerous times and even tried calling the FBI to alert them of Dahmer's erratic behavior to no avail. She is the mother of one of the daughters who saw Konerak come out naked, bleeding, all of that stuff, and she is also the mother that called back to say, hey, this missing person in the newspaper, are you guys sure this wasn't the boy that we talked about and called on the other night? So let's see. Brown, I can't remember, Sean Brown, looks like, portrays Dahmer's last intended victim who fought back and managed to escape, leading the cops to Dahmer's apartment, resulting in his arrest. And again, I mean, Konerak also. Let me make sure I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Last name. Nope, that's his first name. Because I have a lot of difficulty pronouncing his last name. Let's see if I can share this. Synthansum phone. Horrible. But I'll show you his picture. Let's go over to StreamYard. Move this for a moment. Okay. Trying to share. This is the 14-year-old boy that escaped Dahmer's apartment and then was given back to him by the police. Ridiculous. All right, let me see for a second. I'll stop sharing and I'll see if I can bring up his brother as well. Yeah, I just pulled up an article from 1991. The Laotian family falls victim twice. This is the, oh my gosh, Deseret News. Let's pull this up because this is also unbelievable. Do I have the right one? Yep, I do. Look at me doing things well. Yes, so less than 2 years after Dahmer apologized for S.A., the teenage boy, the family learned late Thursday that his younger brother was found among the 11 victims. So let's see. I thought there was... I apologize. I thought I had found something explaining that situation with the first brother a little bit better, but maybe I didn't. I'm reading. All right, I believe I found something. Let's add it to the screen. Why aren't you adding? Apologize for all the clicking. Trying to get better at that. But so far, I don't really know what to do. Make sure it's coming up on my stream. There we go. So, in 1989, Dahmer was convicted of second-degree SA for doing something to Synthantophone's brother, who was then 13 and now 16. Dahmer offered the boy $50 to pose nude for photos at Dahmer's home in 1989, court records said. Dahmer was freed after spending 10 months of a year in jail and was placed on 5 years of probation. In December 1989, in a December 1989 letter to a judge who granted his early release in March 1990, Dahmer said, "What I did was deplorable. The world has enough misery in it without adding more." He promised to become a productive member of society and to avoid committing any more quote-unquote deplorable crimes. Well, we know that's not true. So yeah, just a 10-month sentence there, and hey, I won't do it again. Okay. Promise. Hey, Nikki. I'm just kind of rambling, and then it turned out I was talking about the monster series that I don't know when it's coming out, but it's going to be by Ryan Murphy about Jeffrey Dahmer's victims from the perspective of them. And I was discussing how one of the teenagers that was his victims, Dahmer had actually SA'd his brother 2 years prior and just received a 10-month, well, only served a 10-month sentence out of a year sentence, I believe. And basically just said, "Hey, I won't do it again." And the judge was like, "Cool, man. See ya." So I just wanted to stream this morning. Just kind of bored, I guess. Not really. I have a bazillion things to do, but I'm procrastinating. So that's that. I really also want to be watching the Killing Eve series, but even though I have Hulu, they are not showing the new series, and it is quite annoying. Yeah, and apparently there's another movie named Monster that I may have to look into. It looks interesting. Found it when researching this. 2018 drama crime. I think they said it's on Netflix. It has like Jennifer Hudson, Nas. It looks kind of interesting. I think I've said that already. Interesting. So, let me see here. Sorry for the no noise. Yes, it is. It's about Dahmer. It's, again, going to be more from the perspective of the victims and the incompetency of the Wisconsin police, because apparently there were 10 instances where he should have been apprehended but was not, which is disgusting. And I wonder if I can pull up the audio or if YouTube will even let me do that, of when the police returned Konerak to Dahmer. Let me see. Oh, yeah, and I think I read somewhere that the police officer that returned Dahmer, one of them, was later on promoted, and during his retirement was given all these awards. It's quite ridiculous. Let me see if I can just even pull up. Oh, this is the phone call. Boop. Let me pause it and then play it. This is a phone call when the two girls found Konerak stumbling out. I don't know, Nikki. That's possible. I don't know who that is. This says it's the movie is from 2018. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. And yeah, not the same one that I found. The female SK, I guess, if you will. All right, let me see here. Again, I don't know if YouTube's going to let me play other people's stuff, but I'm going to try. So, yep, Konerak, his 15th victim. This is the 911 call.
I'm on 25th and State, and this is young man. He is butt naked. He has been beaten up. He is very bruised up. He can't stand. He's study fall out. He is butt naked. He has no clothes on. He was really hurt.
So, again, he's stumbling on the street. He's naked. He looks like he's hurt and been drugged or drunk. And these two girls are calling the police to get him help.
And I ain't got no quarter on him. I just seen him, and he needs some help on him.
Where's he at?
25th and State, the corner of 25th and State.
I saw him sitting on the sidewalk.
Oh, I don't know if that... this is Dahmer's perspective of that evening. I can't remember what all this video shows. I'm sorry.
Two girls were with him. They called the police, and I had to think of the story quickly. They told him he was a friend. He was drunk. He was not wanting to go back, so one officer grabbed him by this arm, another officer grabbed him on the other arm, and they walked him up to the apartment.
So as you see, this is a little 14-year-old boy. He is naked. Regardless if he were really drunk or not, which he was not. I believe Dahmer was drugging him at that time. It's a 14-year-old boy. Why would a 14-year-old boy be naked outside? And this man, who obviously didn't look like he was any relation necessarily, because Dahmer's white and Konerak is Laotian. So he's 14. And he looks 14. The police officers escorted him back to the apartment. I cannot believe being this boy, escaping from his apartment, finding two women who are helping you, calling the police, and Dahmer comes out and gives them a story and is trying to get you away from these women who are helping you, but they're like, nope, he's sticking with us. And the police come and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, someone to help and someone to get this guy so he never does this to me or anybody else again. And they hand you back to him. I can't believe it. Let's see. Let's play a little bit more. Sorry.
And they left. That's when I did the second TV.
Right away?
How long would it take from a guy that?
So yeah, as soon as he got back in the apartment with Konerak, he injected him with, I cannot remember what it was, but he died instantly. Instantly.
Was legal.
The intoxicated boyfriend.
This is the police dispatch, I guess, if you will. Back to the main office or whatever it's called. I don't really know. But they're explaining what happened and what they decided to do. So they're saying it's an intoxicated boyfriend of another boyfriend. And again, even if that's the case, even if they're boyfriends, he's 14. He looks 14. No.
Of another boyfriend.
How old was this child?
It wasn't a child, it was an adult.
Oh, I apologize. That was the phone call with Glinda when she called to the mother of one of the girls and the aunt of one of the girls that called the first time, saying, following to check up and ask what happened to the young man. And that's what they said. He wasn't a child, he was an adult. And she was like, no, he was a child.
The intoxicated Asian naked male.
And this is the report now from the police back to the station.
Was returned to his sober boyfriend, and we're at 8.
Okay, hi.
Oh, I apologize. There was something where they had them laughing. The police officers laughing about, like, yeah, haha, it's one I don't know, crazy boyfriend situation. Let me see. Trying to find it again. And not only this, Dahmer is on record, spent time, was sentenced, or served 10 months of a sentence for assaulting this kid's brother just 2 years prior. Why or did that come up on any kind of police report when the 911 call came out for this person's address? Why didn't they take Dahmer's information and pull up his record? There are so many things that they should have done. And in my opinion, they just did not give an F. They could just write it off as, no, we thought they were boyfriends, when you know they didn't. It's just absolutely disgusting. And that's only one instance. Again, there's supposedly 10 instances where Dahmer should have been apprehended. I'm just in such amazement. I'm laughing out of pure astonishment that something like that could occur. And that's when I was a teenager, so that's not that long ago at all. In fact, it was just yesterday because I'm not that old. Let me see. I'm looking at the see if I can find the police call again. Okay, I cannot necessarily find it, but I don't know how long this is, 4 minutes and 45 seconds. This is when the police officer takes the stand, one of the police officers that handed Konerak back to Dahmer. Let me move some things. Sorry, you may hear crackling. I'm moving a little plastic bag so my dog, who's coming up the stairs, can hang out with me. Come on. Oh, let me move that too. Okay. Let's see. Make sure this is showing. All right. As it says, police officer who sent a 14-year-old boy back into Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment. And this is when he takes the stand. I haven't watched this in a while, so I can't remember all that he says, but I know it's pretty infuriating.
Several days earlier, was lying naked on the bedroom floor. He stated that the Asian boy, he believes he saw him, but he did not react to it. He feels this was because of the rum and coffee and sleeping pill mixture. After he realized he was unable to arouse the victim by mouth-to-penis sex and by body rubbing and kissing him, he continued to watch the video and drink beer.
Sorry, I didn't know this was that bad. Where does the police officer come in?
There were two black females standing by him, and they appeared to be hysterical. He walked up to the victim, whom he realized was speaking to the black females in Asian. The victim was disoriented and appeared to be intoxicated.
Did he just say that they were speaking to him in Asian? Let me what?
The victim was disoriented and appeared to be intoxicated by alcohol. However, Mr. Dahmer realized...
Oh, let me go back a little bit. Sorry. Boop, boop.
He walked up to the victim, whom he realized was speaking to the black females in Asian. The victim was disoriented and appeared to be intoxicated by alcohol. However, Mr. Dahmer realized that he must still be under the influence of the drink containing the sleeping pills that he had given him. This time he advised the ladies that the victim was in fact a friend of his. He attempted to pull the victim in the direction of the...
Okay, I don't know why. Oh, here he is. Okay, gotcha. All right, let's play
Into
this.
that alley with your squad lights on,
The headlights of the squad car were on, yes.
and you got out of the car.
He just looks like a
Correct.
douche.
What did you do after you got out of the car? What did you see and what did you do?
I exited the car. I was the passenger of the car. There was a group of people in the alley, and they were all pointing to a white male and a second Asian male who was naked just east of our location in the alley.
And that's an everyday occurrence, right? When people get in a fight or an argument with their significant other, they're just standing outside naked and it's just no big deal. And it's just a little tiff, especially when they're a little kid. Oh, yes, definitely. And I believe it touches on that. Do you think they didn't question him much of the BS? I'm assuming you said BS stuff because of society's opinions of LGBTQ back then. Absolutely. And that there's a theory that is why he picked the victims that he did, because society didn't care about them. So it's kind of like a double whammy. He would go to gay bars and solicit people, and not only were they gay, but also people of color, Black, Asian, people that boyfriend, sorry, much on the boyfriend. Yeah. Yes, in fact, and I wish I could find that clip or a better clip of the police officers reporting back to the station, because you can hear them laughing about it like it's a little lovers quarrel. I don't know. You can just get the sense that they just really don't care.
My partner came up to me and told me that
My stomach
he
is
had
growling.
obtained information from the white male to whom he was talking to, and basically that the Asian male's name was John Hamong and that he was 20 years old, and that
So Dahmer said or gave a fake name for Konerak. Why didn't the police try to look for his ID, check that information, run the name that they gave him? Why? I don't even think they talked to Konerak at all. They only talked to Dahmer, it seems. And again, even if people are of age, in a relationship, if someone's outside naked and incapable of speaking for themselves, I think they're incapable of giving consent on whether or not they want to go back into an apartment with someone. He obviously left the apartment for a reason, even if it's just an argument. That's his right to decide. And if he's acting like he doesn't want to go back in, that's not the police officer's decision. Just if he were sober, to make that decision for him. And again, not only, I know I keep saying it, but I just cannot believe it. He was drugged, naked, and 14 years old.
that he had been staying with him for the last, I believe he said 2 to 3 weeks.
Had been staying with whom?
With Mr. Dahmer. He also had obtained Dahmer's name at that point. Officer Perupkin, myself.
So they obtained Dahmer's name, but not the kids. And Dahmer had a record. For assaulting a minor 2 years prior. So I don't know if the question needs to be why anymore. I think it needs to be how. I think we know the why. I apologize if you can hear my stomach growling. I did not. I guess I'm hungry. I didn't realize it, but I had coffee for breakfast. Normally that's enough. But yeah. So how do we hire people that have this type of mentality, that just have blatant disregard for human life, have no reverence for human life, despite what their beliefs are, how they think other people should live? As a public servant, I believe you should just have reverence for human life. I'm not quite sure how you would prove that, but I definitely think through people's actions over time, that can help determine whether or not they have that. So fire them, you know? These officers were allowed to continue being police officers. Again, I believe there was a brief time where there was some sort of like, you're on administrative leave, but were able to later on fulfill their career as a police officer, retire with like good standing, believe medals, honors. I can pull that up as well.
Asian male and Jeffrey Dahmer began walking toward the rear of the apartment. While we walked back to the apartment, Mr. Dahmer spoke of the crime in the neighborhood and how bad he thought it was. He said he was glad that the police were in the neighborhood and that there was a need for the police. I believe he may have been smoking a cigarette during that time. As we got near to the apartment building, it's the rear of the apartment building, obviously, he spoke of the need for extra locks on his apartment and that he had a security system because of the crime and the nature of the neighborhood. He showed you.
So he had locks on his doors. He was chumming up the police. Like, yeah, you guys are doing a good job keeping us safe. It's kind of crazy around here. Showing the extra precautions that he takes. So my point in bringing this up is that there was enough time to continue to question him, to get a feel for his demeanor and Konerak's demeanor, because they were walking him back at the same time. They were walking him back to the apartment, just chit-chatting. Disgusting.
You up to his apartment.
Correct.
And he convinced you that you could go about your business, that he had everything under control.
We were convinced that all was well.
And there wasn't anything that you saw that could, for one moment, have caused you.
He convinced them. Why does a police officer need to be convinced? A police officer needs to come to their own conclusions, use their own logic, assess the situation. And I believe these police officers knew how to do that. They just chose not to do that in this instance because they didn't give a crap about them. It's what it seems like.
You to believe that there was any problem at all, correct?
There was nothing.
No problem at all. Naked 14-year-old.
Mr. Dahmer told me that after the police left, he gave a second injection of muriatic acid and that proved fatal. But even then, he was attempting to carry out the plan to create a zombie. His words were, "Then I gave him the second injection of muriatic acid, and that was fatal. I didn't intend it to be, but it was."
Don't forget.
Oops, sorry. My computer is running a little bit slow for some reason. Oh, all right. Ooh. No, we don't want to do that. Stop. There we go. Okay. Again, let me see if I can pull up the... This is from Newsweek. I remember seeing this tweet as well. This is from June 19th of 2020. Perhaps my computer is like running hot or something. Oh. I feel like when I talk on here, I get a bunch of saliva in my mouth and I'm like swallowing all the time. And I feel like everyone can hear it. Just weird thing that's in my mind. So yeah, again, let me check and make sure. Nope, this is not on screen. There we go. Okay. So according to Newsweek, there was a tweet from 2017 congratulating Milwaukee police officer John Balzerczak for his retirement, and it reemerged. In May 1991, he was involved in a deadly mistake. It wasn't a mistake. So he was fired after the incident, although he was reinstated in May of 1994. It said it tarnished his career, but let me see. I know. Oh, yeah, here it is. Congratulations and thanks to MPD motorcycle officers John Balsack and Dennis whatever retirement after a combined 61 years of service. And it says writer Dana Schwartz quoted the 2017 tweet, adding, the Balsack was one of the 2 police officers who were called to investigate the 911 call about a drugged, bleeding 14-year-old Laotian immigrant who escaped from Jeffrey Dahmer. The policeman made gay jokes and left. And it says, whatever happened to him after the time. And then it says Balsack and Gabrish defended their actions at the time with the information we had to this day. I think we did the appropriate thing, the best that we could. He is quoted saying in an August 1991 interview with the Associated Press reported. He also noted that Dahmer remained calm and as collected as could be during their interaction. Oh, okay. Yeah, police recordings also reportedly included the cops making jokes on the police radio after leaving his apartment. When asked about the comments heard on the recording, Balsack brushed them off. It is a type of transmission that is commonplace, that type of jocularity. Oh, Lord. Yeah, this person is correct in their tweet. I've often wondered what happened to those 2 officers. They were accessories to murder. It's gross to see him smiling like that. I agree. Anyway, so again, I'm looking forward to that series coming out. I do like a lot of Ryan Murphy's series. I find them very interesting, kind of disturbing and unsettling, but sometimes that's my thing. And I think that he depicts a lot of injustices in society in a way where it's so in your face that we can't ignore it. And I'm glad that he's doing this series from the victim's perspective. I'm going to take one more look at something before I get off and just see when. I've been looking every once in a while to see when it's going to be released. I know about a year ago, I think they started filming. There were pictures going around on Reddit of Evans like being photographed as Dahmer, I think doing some filming in Canada. But I know because of, the dilemma that's happened the past 2 years, things have been on hold at times. All I can see so far is that it's stated to be released in 2022. But I don't see an exact date. Yeah, I don't see anywhere that says an exact date. So, all right. That'll be about it from me for now. So, guess this wasn't so random after all. I was going to say something and then didn't really come out in my mouth like it did in my brain. So there you go. That's that. Hope everyone's doing okay. Hope you have a good day. And I will See you soon.